we have been spoiled this fall. Like so warm, so nice into the middle of October. We know things are going to be changing. And you might be like me, because that has been pushing everything back. Like I haven't done anything in the backyard. But we got the man here, Carson Arthur. There's the man, to help us out. But is that what you're finding from people that's saying the same type of thing, where they're not doing anything because it has been so
Everybody's been enjoying weekends away, trying to escape a little bit. Restrictions have lifted, so people are out. The yards and the gardens, not looking so good right now.
No, okay. So we're like, it's turning.
Yeah,
okay?
And we're going to talk about trees.
All right.
Trees are our frontline defense against climate change, and the numbers that have just come out recently about trees in Canada are actually a little scary. So forest fires, gypsy moth, invasive species, we're getting our trees hammered. And in homes, people are cutting the trees down. So in urban centers, we're seeing people say, oh, this tree's sick, let's just remove it. It's a lot of work, let's get it out of here and take it down. And they're not replacing the trees. And that's a scary thing. So what we're gonna talk about today is how to look after the trees to make sure they stay healthy.
Like this one looks nice and healthy.
Yeah, kinda, except this is a branch that came off of it, and I'm gonna show you something. It's got something called black tar spot. Now these are a fungal infection that infects maple trees, and a lot of people have been experiencing this across Ontario this year. Black tar spot, this fungus, actually breaks down the cell structure so the tree is unable to produce energy through chlorophyll. So you see those spots all over? It coats the leaves. The more of this you get on the leaves, the less healthy the tree is because it just can't generate the energy. This stuff overwinters in the ground. So when the leaves fall off of the tree, fungus ends up in the ground, on the grass, in the leaves, around the grass. That's why it is so important at this time of year to remove all the leaves under infected trees. Things like lilacs with powdery mildew, black tar spot here, anthracnose, rust around fruit trees. Take a look at the health of the leaves of your tree. If it's not healthy, get those leaves out of there. You do not want this overwintering the season in the grass around it.
Because it's hard, because sometimes you do want the leaves, don't you?
Well, that's the tough part. When you have a healthy tree, the leaves are free fertilizer.
Because you can move those leaves into your beds.
Absolutely. Chop them up, put them in the compost pile. But these leaves, to stop this fungal infection, your compost pile has to get at 120 degrees. Now, who goes out and measures the temperature of the compost pile? Not going to happen. So if you've got an infected tree, take these leaves down and dispose of them properly based on your municipality.
So you're looking at the tree, or you're looking at once the leaves fall to the ground?
Check the tree first.
Check the tree first.
Then check and see what's on the ground. Then make sure you get rid of it properly.
Okay.
Compost if it's healthy, dispose of it if it's not.
Just onto the street?
Neighbor's yard.
Yeah, right. Okay. You got 3 more in you?
You betcha I do.
Okay, we'll do that with Carson Arthur. Getting you fall ready on Morning Live. Morning, everybody. I'm just waiting for him to say it. Say it.
Things not to do around your tree. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Back with Carson Arthur. We're talking trees because trees are kind of important in our world, and we need to be keeping our trees nice and healthy. So what I did there, you want to be trimming around this tree.
Yes.
You won't want to be trimming that close and hurting the tree?
So the last segment we talked about fungus, and we talked about fungus in the leaves and removing the leaves around the tree. The other spot that fungus likes to live is in the grass around the tree. Now there's a couple of things that have gone wrong with this particular tree. The first thing was with the string trimmer. Actually, if you pass me that trimmer, I'm going to show you. The original person who cut this tree did not use a guard. It is so important to have a guard on your string trimmer to prevent the bark from getting shut.
That's the simple guard that comes with it? Like,
yeah, so this is
not a separate thing.
No, so this is actually my string trimmer. This is my Craftsman string trimmer, and the reason I love it is because this guard actually turns, it's a wheel, so it allows you to cut in nice and tight to the tree, but at the same time, the spinning wire doesn't remove the bark. This is also great around your house. You're not going to scrape the side of the house. You do not want to remove the bark at the base of the tree, because what's going to happen is you'll actually open it up for fungal infections to get in there.
Like,
so
like in here. That's kind of what I just did.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Well, that was actually done before you, so
okay.
You didn't do that. But what you did was you scraped off the ground here. Now, when you expose soil around trees like that, again, if you're thinking insects, that's where they're going to go to live. The other problem with this particular tree is you can see that it's on a hump. It's been raised up. It makes it harder because the roots are now exposed around the bottom. And every time they go around it with a lawnmower, they're cutting the top off the roots. It is really important that the roots be buried in soil, that the tree doesn't have this crown, and that any grass around it is cut really short.
is now the time to do that, or is the spring the time to do that, to dump some topsoil on there?
Now is the time to treat it. So we're going to take all the grass off around. We're going to treat it with a fungicide. There's simple little fungicides that you can get out there, products that will actually treat the fungus that are spores that are in the soil. So you can spray it down now at this time of year. Come spring, we're going to add more soil to raise it up. You can only raise it about 3 to 4 inches at a time. If you go deeper than that, you start smothering the roots. So we're going to raise it up 3 or 4 inches, leave it for a few months, and do it again.
Are you putting that, like, are you mixing that with water?
Yep, so the fungicide always is usually a concentrate, but you're going to mix it with water and spray it on the area where fungal infections are present. It's really important for the health of the tree.
Can get that any garden center?
Yeah, any garden center. This is one option. Lime sulfur is another one. This is just a natural product.
If you're going into a garden center and telling them what you want to do, they'll be able to
Yeah, a
point you in the
general
right direction.
fungicide for removing fungus around the bottom of a tree. But again, this is what breaks down the health of the tree. So remove the grass, do it properly with a good string trimmer, spray a little fungicide, especially if you know you already have fungus present.
Okay. 2 down, 2 more to go. Carson Arthur, getting your trees ready for fall on Morning Live. To trim and when not to trim? That is the question this morning with Carson Arthur. Because I always forget. Like, I don't know how many times we've done these, but is it spring or fall? When's the best time?
So it's spring,
Okay.
except, and there's a few exceptions right now. So if you think about the leaves as solar panels, and you're trying to charge up your tree with solar panels, these are generating energy by getting sun, all right? When you remove leaves that have chlorophyll in them, they're no longer able to generate energy. You kind of end the story. So if you prune a tree that's overgrown like this Japanese maple, too soon, it can't get energy down in the roots.
Okay.
Right? It's like only getting a 60% charge on your cell phone.
So it's best to let these leaves be falling off.
Exactly. So you want to wait, except if there's dead wood. Now, there's a dead branch here, and I'm going to show it to you. Right there's a dead branch.
Okay.
So you can actually take that right out if you want, Tim.
Okay, I got the snips.
Yep, go for it.
We've talked the type of snips to have in the past. Does it matter for this type of thing? Like
No,
good
no,
snip?
and you're going to want to go down lower. So these are going to be bypass pruners to give you a nice tight cut.
Right
Yep,
in there.
snip that right off. The reason why you want to remove this, and I'm going to show you right here on the end of it, this is dead wood. It's starting to rot. So fungal infections are now getting into the tree itself through this cavity. Insects like earwigs will also climb in there and overwinter. So if you have dead wood in your trees or your shrubs, remove it now before it becomes a home for invasive species.
So you would see that because there's no leaves on that.
Exactly.
That's the #1 sign,
Yeah, that's the number
obviously,
one.
right?
Yeah, and if you're not unsure, you take your secateurs like this, and you're just going to hold it down, and you're just going to do a little bark scrape. Just scrape the bark. If you see green underneath it, it's still alive. There's no green there. This is dead. This is done. So take it out.
Take it out.
From an insurance standpoint, if you are doing fall pruning and you're making sure that there's no branches that are going to fall on your house and you're doing that regular maintenance, insurance companies love that. It's really important because if you ignore trees and you don't remove the dead branches and they fall off, sometimes you're at fault. So you got to pay attention to what's going on to the health of your trees.
Right. Any of these guys, these little guys here, like that,
Can all be removed.
they can all be removed.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So you get in there and clean that all up. You want to do it?
Yeah, let's do that.
Get in there and clean up all the dead wood.
All these little guys here. Okay. You got one more in you?
You know I do.
Let's do it. Back with Carson Arthur. Some great fall hacks on Morning Live. Let's not do that one. Leaves are a-changing. They're taking their time, especially in urban settings. If you've been up north, they're really starting to change, which is really exciting. But back here, Carson Arthur doing some great fall hacks, and he's handed me this and told me nothing else. Why do I have a flathead screwdriver in my hand, Carson?
Well, all right. We've talked about tools in each of the hacks. We've talked about blowers and trimmers and pruners and now screwdrivers. These are the fall tools you need right now, and there's a very specific thing you're looking for with that. Tim, I'm going to get you to hold out your hand. You're looking for these.
Oh, God, what is that?
Those are gypsy moth egg sacs. We
Oh,
had
I thought it was like a honeycomb at first.
Yeah. These are all over the trees right now in Ontario, in all of our viewer area. These are the egg sacs for the gypsy moth larva that invaded us this year. Now, if you have been in an area where you know gypsy moth damage, the trees got totally stripped by the eggs or by the larvae of these guys. And now the adults are starting to lay their eggs, and they're laying them back in here in the bark. So you're going to see gypsy moths around your trees. So you're going to look for those types of egg casings. Now I don't see one right there other than the ones I just pulled off in your hand.
Where were they? So you said like back in here?
Yeah, they'll be sitting in there. So you can actually, yeah.
Like just even.
So you're going to go in with the screwdriver and remove it, kind of like that, absolutely, and take the whole gypsy moth out. Now you don't want to remove too much of the bark because again you're opening up a wound in the tree. So you want to keep it nice and light to the outside edges. Yeah, absolutely.
That's all bark there, right? Like
Right.
you don't want to be getting rid of that. So when we don't see anything, you don't really need to be getting rid of anything.
Exactly, but you definitely need to do an inspection. We've had the worst gypsy moth infestation in southern Ontario this year than we've ever had before, and they're already talking about how bad it's going to be next year.
Are they hard to get off?
They're not. They
So
peel,
like it would just sit like that. That's
absolutely,
that's how
it would just
look like.
peel right off. Also take a look around your patio furniture. They will lay eggs around patio furniture, on the sides of sheds, anywhere, outdoor activity that they're slightly protected.
Do we know why?
Why they're here?
Yeah.
We don't have a natural predator for them. They're not a native Canadian species, so there's nothing that eats them. They're much like tent caterpillars in that way. And when they larvae, or when they come out in the thousands, and they defoliate trees. They eat everything. Now, people think they should be fertilizing their tree. Do not fertilize your tree at this time of year if you've had gypsy moths. Instead, wait until spring, let the trees recover, but take away those egg sacs so that we don't get more infestation next year.
Okay, let's circle back to something we talked about earlier, is about tree having the type of, what do we call it? When
The fungus, the tar spot?
fungus, yeah, fungus. Okay, would it have it on any type of tree?
It's mostly maples. It'll affect a few others, but there's all kinds of other funguses present this year because we had so much humidity. So take a look for fungus infections on your trees. If you've got it, remove the leaves. Take a look for the gypsy moth caterpillar larva in there. Get rid of those, all off that. Remove the leaves, remove the dead branches.
When these leaves are falling, though, we can be putting the leaves in the bed if they don't have that fungus on it.
You got it. If it's healthy, put the leaves in the flower bed. A tree like this generates about $50 worth of free fertilizer every single year. So why not take advantage of it?
Good seeing you, man. Have a good winter. We'll see you in the spring. Our years go by so quick because how often I see this guy. It's twice a year, the spring and the fall, and this is the fall. So we'll see you in the spring. Carson Arthur, I'm Morning Live.